What is going on here?
Where?
Your mic is open, Marion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, dear. Yikes. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, dear. Trying to get my bags back, Roland. Oh, dear. What do I do? Oh, yeah. How do I? Oh, shoot. Hold on. I gotta get my. I'm carrying my computer, and I got my mouse and my phone, and oh my gosh.
Well, you better catch that mouse.
Yeah, right. I love this little mouse. It's one of those that, you know, you just turn it on and off and put your computer to
And you're
sleep.
being recorded, by the way. We started the recording early. Okay. Here's some things that I feel are very, very important. When you look at the information out there that we have, we are overloaded with information. You could be on a webinar, on a training call, on a Zoom, on something 3 hours a day, every day. Shackley has stuff. Everybody in Shackley has something that you can be on. We got this Zoom. There are three-way calls and a lot of the stuff. I would say people are spending 90% of their time thinking they're learning something very valuable for the business, and maybe they are. But most people should understand that we should be putting 90% into productive activity and about 10% into learning. It used to be that way. It used to be a person would see somebody do a skincare, and then from then on, they do skincares. Now we have training upon training upon training upon training. The Shackley company is even doing training, which I think is the most ridiculous thing in the world. But it's a good escape, and we can get addicted to the medicine just like people get addicted to a drug. Because I'm doing Shackley. I was on this Zoom last night. I was talking to some people last night. And there are just some basic things that work incredibly well. And I believe for a long period of time, people have been looking to figure out how they can get more for doing less. The message has been, we've got the internet, we've got Facebook, and you can go out there and you can meet the masses, thousands of people. But it does not build a business because there is no leadership. With masses, you don't build a good relationship, and there's no loyalty. It's another product. Instead, we should be building loyalty, building relationships, and helping other people to be leaders and do the same thing, and then we can build a very, very good income. Very good business. And this is a story that I'd like Marion to add to, because it has to do with her group, but this is an example of somebody that is under a master coordinator, Marion Kurt Weimer. Somebody in the group, a customer who said, I think I'd like to get involved in making an income in Shackley. And Marion talked to them a little bit and then set up a three-way. And expediency says, send them to Facebook, send them to university training program, send them someplace, but you don't have to talk to them anymore. But instead, it was a three-way call. The whole thing that was emphasized on the three-way call is that we have products, we have the market, and we know how to tap the market. Are you coachable? That's what it was all about with the lady. And we said the next step is to talk to your husband. And that's something that could save years of time right there, because the husband said, yes, I'm in. I tell you, women, if you're doing this business on your own, you got to talk to the men. If, like I talked to a couple today, I had originally talked to the guy, and I said the next step is talk to your wife. So this afternoon I did a call with he and his wife. Works both ways. And so talk to the husband, he said, we're in. What I went over with the husband is that we have the market, we have the product, and I know how to tap the market. And if you're coachable, that's it. You got to decide whether you want work with us. And then the next thing is for you to decide, you and your wife decide what type of an income. All these steps. And we don't want you to make a decision on doing Shackley at this point. You got to feel comfortable, and we've got to feel comfortable working with you. And so they decided on an income and said, okay, we want you to set up some three-way calls so you can learn the communication skills. But the next thing is also set up an in-home. And because I live closer to them than Marion and Kurt do, in travel time, 3.5 hours one way, I said, I will do the in-home presentation. And I don't believe you can get the results that we were getting without offering a lot of free products. $225 retail value for 6 and $300 for 10 people. They strived very, very hard to get the 10 people. They wanted to get the 300. They never said once, I don't know where we could find anybody. We really don't know anybody. So, no. Their whole attitude was, we're going to find people. They had about 15 on the list that they thought were going to come, but 8 came. So they didn't get the 10. But I said, I'm going to do the best in-home presentation I've ever done. And therefore, on the way there, I had 3.5 hours. I knew everybody's name. I knew everything about the people. I read it over and over again. So when they walked in the door, immediately I knew about those people. And I didn't forget their name. This was Jim. This was Linda. I remember their names right now. So I know about the people, and I'm going to do an good in-home presentation. I'm going to do my best. And when I gave out the certificates for product, I made a big deal out of it. And people were sitting there thinking, wow, is that good? Well, we will be above average within a week, I'm sure, because $350 worth of product were sold to 2 people, and with a follow-up, there's going to be over 500 PV. That's a good average. And 2 people there said, we want to have one as quick as possible. So at the end of the month, there are 2 more that are being set up with 2 other people. We meet the average. I'm going to do those too. We meet the average. That is $1,500 volume just from the in-homes. And the hosting couple will be doing some other meetings, or they'll be doing some skin cares and so on. So they should have 2,000 volume out the door in less than 1 month. These other 2 people, I don't know what they want to do. They haven't even tried a product yet. But they sure are excited. They're going to go for 10 people. And chances are, if they get people under them, they're going to say, hey, I think I want this business. I don't know who's going to do that. Somebody will. Because I believe that this couple, if they're coachable, and they are coachable at this point, they will be at coordinator level in 4 months. 2 first-level directors. The second month, they are to go out with 3,500 or 4,000 volume. Add it up. They know that they will continue doing in-home presentations. We're doing 3, and that's it. Marion and Kurt are going to go there and do a skincare thing, but that's it. From then on, they can do skincares. Whatever it is. They're going to be active. They understand that. And they understand that they're going to be doing in-homes. They said, yeah, they don't know anything different. They're going to be doing them. So they will probably be doing maybe an average of 1 or 2 a week. If they do 4 in 1 month, that's another 2,000 volume right there. Plus the skin cares. We've said on the skin cares, look, until you're a director, if somebody wants the skin care, tell them if they have 3 people there, then the person hosting gets $100 of free product retail value by having 3 other people. So they should be able to set up at least 1 skincare as well a week, and that's 9 more people, or excuse me, that's 12 more people who have heard about the skincare, plus the person hosting who hasn't bought any skincare. So that should be another at least $1,000 to $1,500 volume right there, plus the 2,000. Plus with what they already started. So when you start figuring the numbers from these in-homes and the skincare is given, we're talking $3,500 to $4,000 the second month, and that's going to give a nice bonus check. They don't know about titles, they don't know about rank, but they do know that I said we're focusing that for the month, the second month, we're looking to help you get a check of $1,200 to $1,500 a month. And they said, wow. In 6 months, the focus is that they are executives, if they're coachable, and building down line. And I'm not going to get into the details at all of how to do various things because I don't know who the people are that they're going to bring in. I just know it's going to happen. I know that if we build depth, it's going to happen. You show me any other thing out there that can build a business that quickly, and I'm all for it. I know of nothing. Nothing. And these people, if they're coachable and not afraid of success, they're going to have a heck of a business in 6 months. But without in-homes, it will not happen for 5 years. So my point is, if they are not going to do in-homes, then it's going to be 5 years before they ever get there, if at all. So therefore, anybody in my group or I'm working with, the question I'm going to ask them, if they say, hey, I really want to grow in Shackley, I want to move up to executive, I want to move up to master, whatever. The question is, are you doing in-homes? And I feel the minimal is at least one a week. Do you realize that if every sales leader in Shackley were to do one a week, just one a week, Shackley's business would go up 10 to 15%. And they're nowhere near 10 or 15% growth. I can tell you that right now. They're lucky if they're at 1%. So this is the simplicity of it. We've been doing the presidential master meetings. People have been coming to that. But I think people have been addicted to the medicine. And they've been resistant to change because they don't want to spend a dime. And they want to get all they can for doing less. That started 20 years ago, you know, when people in network marketing companies were saying, oh, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this. And Shackley said, look at all the things you don't have to do in Shackley. You don't have to pay bonuses. You don't have to supply products. You don't have to do anything. We'll set up the training programs. We'll do everything. And people in the field kept asking for Shackley to do more so we could do less. So you say, well, that's a long drive, 3.5 hours one way. Yes, it is. I leave early so I can take a half-hour nap before I do the meeting, and I'm ready to come back home after the meeting. How much effort and time and energy and everything else are we putting into some of these people who take 6 months to maybe make minimal volume as a director? We talk to them, we encourage them, and we get depressed. So this is what we're changing. And we're going to see incredible results. And Marion, you know, you've been talking to them. Boy, there's nothing like having a business boosting you up. I could say to that person, okay, why don't you just keep getting the book out? They don't have enough experience in getting the book out. And how many books do you have to get out? You have to get out a lot of books because Richard does not see that in Shackley we get a lot of business from people because of the value of the products. I'd say 80% of the people who are at director level and above came in with a product first and then went on to building a business. That's an incredible advantage that we have. Incredible advantage. If the products didn't work, then of course the in-home thing is not going to work very well. Then you have to resort just to business. But we can talk about products, get a lot of people using product. That has to motivate that person who hosted that meeting. Man, oh man, oh man. We've got such an opportunity here, but if we don't do in-home presentations, don't expect to grow very much. Marion, what do you have to add to this? Because this is going to be a first level sales leader for you. Kurt. Are you there, Marion?
Okay, now I am. How can I say thank you enough times?
Your mic is off, but we can't hear you yet.
Oh, really? Well, oh, wait a minute here.
I can hear her.
Okay, you can't hear
Any
me now?
questions or comments from any of you on this?
What's wrong with this?
I can hear her.
I think it's on Roland's end.
Yeah, I hear her fine.
What?
I can hear her too.
Yep.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you. I don't think Roland can hear you.
Oh. Has he got me muted?
No, you're not
Okay,
muted.
I don't know if maybe I couldn't hear you. Linda, I don't know, for some reason I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me? Huh.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
I mean, my mic is, it says mute on
Okay,
here,
look.
Roland. Let me see what this does.
You're not muted, Miriam. We can hear you.
Okay, okay. Well,
Can you hear her, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, can you hear me, Roland?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Well, thank you, Roland, again, for what you're doing and helping. It's amazing. You know, there's some advantages in not being too technology sharp. Because, you know, Facebook, I couldn't send them to Facebook. I know how to get on there and do my thing, but, you know, I don't do that very often. But, you know, there is a definite advantage in that. In some of the stuff on the, you know, like the university thing, I don't mess with any of that. You know, and I don't want them messing with it. And so I don't ever bring that stuff up to them because I want to protect their thinking. I want their thinking to be always thinking, you know, that we're going to get 15. We're going to, you know, we're going to executive, we're going to coordinator, whatever we're doing. I want them thinking that way. And every time I talk to her, and I was telling Roland that one of the things the other day, she says, well, you know, now I think this gal would be interested in, she was a realtor. I think she would be interested in the residual income. Now, how many people do you have that they come in and they're just new members and they talk about residual income? I mean, shoot, I didn't understand it until, I don't know, I had to come home from a meeting and call Roland and he sent me this thing that said 5 2s and 1s. Then I began to understand. But anyhow, you know, when I talk to them, they're I mean, they've always got people that they're talking to, talking about, learning things about, you know, all of those things that it takes. There was something else I wanted to mention that was so good.
Is she getting the skincare soon?
Oh yeah, the skincare thing. Forgot, sorry. Okay, and as soon as I get home from Vegas, I've got a Zoom skincare set up with Danita, just because I want her to be familiar with all of this before I get there. That's only 2 days after I get home from Vegas. And, you know, if her mom wants to watch, that'll be fine. But anyhow, that's what I have planned. And then we'll go there and do a couple skincares. And, you know, I haven't got a date set up for those, but we'll have it here shortly. So anyhow, but the thing of it is to get her doing those skincares. I built my business on skincare. And, you know, I don't know. I guess I personally, I love the book. I like the book because it gives me, and Richard talks about this, the balance between the business and the product. And, you know, exactly what Roland's saying. Richard don't understand some things. He understands the book. However, you know, but I can, and how I've done the book is simply, I've got my antennas up all the time, listening to what people say in the group as they order product. I got another gal up here. She's a $400 or $500 a month user. That's just her. You know what? Her parents were directors at one time. So I'm going to approach her, Lisa, with an in-home. She's a real nice gal. Her husband passed away. And so that's where I'm going with that. And I'm going to look for some more people under there. But what we're looking for down Danita and Jeff's line is getting those in-homes and getting in-homes under in-homes. And like with, let's see here, Jessica.
Yeah.
Jessica, yeah. She looks like a real good prospect to us. And then the other one was, now Maddie's going to have an in-home.
Right.
Maddie has everybody in her home. You know, it's a small area. You know, they just get a lot of people. They know everybody, you know, all this kind of thing. And so, and in fact, the Jessica, the way that Danita got to know her, her little boy come into her Sunday school class. And they met there and they talked a little bit. Well, anyhow, the girl, Danita, she's not afraid to approach. This is another thing, another key thing. She told her what they were doing and said, would you like to come? She says, yeah, I think I would. So that's how Jessica, now she didn't really know Jessica before, but she wasn't afraid to approach her. And with the skin cares and all of that, we get that going. It's going to fly. And we're excited about that. I don't know, Roland, is there anything else you want me to mention?
Well, the other thing that I did, Marianne, is that like you said, she wasn't afraid to approach Jessica. And she took that new product that Shackley has, that moisturizer for under the eyes.
Oh, yes.
And
Roland, we can't hear you.
Okay. And she used that under one eye
Yes.
and not the other one, and took a picture of it. And there's an incredible difference. So she sent that picture to a lot of her friends and said, can you see the difference? So she's thinking creatively.
Yes.
She's not saying, okay, I got to have a training program how to do this.
Oh, dear.
You know, just common sense, because we've gotten so much into training, we can't use common sense. Like on the last Zoom that I was on, I mean, people kept saying, okay, well, what are some of the questions you ask relating to the business to find out where people are in their thinking? I said, I don't know. I mean, I want to find out if they're married, they have a family. I mean, people are looking desperately for exactly what do you do this with every person. I said, it's not the same with everybody. I said, it's an indication that people don't have a big, strong goal. If they had a big, strong goal, common sense would come into play real fast.
Uh-huh.
But instead, they want to focus on the training stuff.
Uh-huh.
And that's why a lot of people, as I've said, in fact, I told Richard that a lot of people are afraid to get the book out. I think, Marianne, there's a lot of noise. Maybe you can mute your line or somebody there.
Me?
Somebody's moving something around. Maybe it's somebody else's line. So a lot of people are afraid to get the book out because for fear somebody's going to say yes. And people don't know what to do if somebody says yes. They don't know. My thing is talk to them, ask questions, set up an in-home. You have a number of people, all of you do in your group, who would probably love to have 3 free products. There's a huge market. Just ask people. Just ask people. I've called up a couple people that have never used Shackley, or they haven't used Shackley in years. And I just called them up and chit chat, and we haven't talked, introduced myself, and said to this one who I've never met before, downline under somebody else, downline under a couple sales leaders, as a matter of fact. And most people, they don't answer their phone, but I just leave a message and introduce myself, say I'm with Shackley, and I have a question I'd like to ask you. Would you please call me back? Well, this one person called me back, and she said who she was, and she said Osterhaus, you know. She said, I just couldn't put two and two together, but she said, I know Carter Osterhaus. My kids know him. And she said, I can't believe your name is Osterhaus. I said, well, yeah, it is. So finally I told her, yeah, I was related to him. And she said, I cannot believe this. I just cannot believe this. And so we got talking, and she said, well, you know, I'd like to meet with you. We can go to lunch or something. Now, the expedient thing to do is to say, well, let's just do Zoom or Facebook. People really do want to get together. I mean, if you have some friends, maybe it's for the holidays coming up, Labor Day weekend, why don't you all stay home and order food and talk to each other on Zoom? Say, what are you eating there again? Oh, you're having that. Well, let me show you what I'm eating. So how was your week? No, we want to get together. So we went out for lunch with her last week, or just, last week. And let her ask questions. I asked questions. We had a good time at lunch. And then, can we go through the catalog? And I went through the catalog, and I made some comments about some of these products. By that time, I knew a little bit about her family and so on. And then it was really funny because I was talking about how I do consultations with people on different things and the value of calcium for helping people's. I talked about soft drinks and people with arrhythmia. She said, hold it right there. Would you go over that again? I want to get a video of this because my sister is in the hospital with AFib. And then there's something else I mentioned. She said, I want to get a video of this and send to my mother. She took 3 videos to send to people. And she was in Shackley many years ago, but she said, we didn't build a strong foundation, but we grew very fast. She's been in Arbonne, one of the top people in Arbonne, but things fell apart there. One of the top people in Arbonne. And her husband says, you're not going to get into network marketing again. He says, well, I don't know. But I offered her for an in-home. She said, I just don't have time. She's writing books. She has her own company working with real estate people and closing deals. And, but she's not putting it out and saying, hey, I'm not going to. Because she's thinking of all these people, and she's going to be setting up a 3-way call with her sister and so on. All I'm looking for is the opportunity to have an in-home, and there's going to be a business. I don't think she's going to turn down a business when it gets going. Trying to sit there and convince her of all these people she knows and everything else, that's not the way, to me, the way to go. I'm looking to talk to some people and set up an in-home with somebody, maybe somebody she leads me to, but they're not going to turn it down. I don't believe they will. It's all about in-home presentations. We've got tons of in-home presentations. And as I said, I set up 2 in-home presentations, which I've never done before if somebody's in-home. If somebody, maybe one person would say, well, I'd like to have one, but it's always put off for months. These people want to have it right away, as soon as possible. They want to get the $300. And so you keep the momentum going. I tell you, it's a game changer. It's an answer. It's fabulous. Comments on this, because here's the bottom line. If you don't do in-homes, you're not going to build much.
Roland.
Marianne, go ahead.
Okay. As Danita and I were talking, she was saying, well, you know, I had 6 or 8, you know, whatever. I said, that is great. I says, you did a super job. I says, you know, want to know something? I had one at my first one. And she says, you never told me that. I says, no, I'm not going to tell you that until after you've been successful. But I did. I had one. But you know what? It didn't make any difference. I had such a strong belief in these products that I wanted to make an income. But it didn't fly with me real fast in the beginning. I didn't think it did, but it did go pretty good. But after I got my one, and then I got another one and whatever. But it was just kind of funny because she was, lamenting that she didn't have 10, and I said, well, I had one. So anyhow.
How many, Marion, how many in-homes were done before Rod and June Wells came and said they would have one? I remember that very clearly. How many was that the second one or the third one that you had?
Boy, you know what, Roland, I'd have to think about that. Let me think here a second. You know what? You and I went out and went out to Rod and June's house, and we sat down with them.
That's right.
Showed them, what Shackley was. And that's when they decided they had not been to an in-home.
Okay.
But we had sat down with them. Well, then they immediately went to Doug and Sue Smith.
Right.
Yeah, and so, of course, Sue's still with me with us. And, that was 1978. She became a director, so I've earned from her all those years, and she's still doing it. So, I don't remember on them. I'm trying to think about, what about, let's see, Sandy Shepard was one. Roland, I don't remember on some of those, where they came in.
And then the Allemans came in after you were down in Indiana, and they did all kinds of in-homes.
Oh yeah, well now, yes, that's where Sandy came from. Okay, I did that first meeting 2 weeks after I'd moved to Chesterton, and I didn't know. I called Roland. I says, "What am I going to do?" Well, tell your story. Okay, so I told my story. And he had come down. Oh, then we set up a time for him to come down. And he came down and we had a meeting. We got in a room at the church. And so we had a meeting there. And I mean, there was a bunch of people. I don't know what we had, 10 or 15 people there. I mean, I just asked them to come, And so they came, and out of that meeting, let's see. No, this was out of the very first meeting after I'd been there just 2 weeks. Those people wanted to come to my house on Sunday night after church for a meeting. I thought, I don't do stuff on Sunday. It was back in those days. But anyhow, from that meeting is where the Allemans came from. Because, let's see, Joe Reed was there. He was sponsored by Kenny Vogelin, and Joe Reed was there, and I think he sponsored Sandy Shepard. Yes, because she wanted to get mass care at wholesale. And so she sponsored, and out of that, Allemans came in probably 5-6 levels down from her, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, like you said, they started doing all those in-homes. Today we make at least 75 to 100,000 from that leg and from the first meeting I did when it came to Indiana. I mean, Roland, it's amazing.
Because the Allemans are master coordinators too,
Yes.
or Kathy Alleman is.
Right.
So, I mean, it was in-homes. I know they did tons of in-homes.
Oh yeah.
Tons of in-homes.
And while they were out doing something else, I was out doing something else.
Yep.
Hey, they could do their own in-home things.
That's right.
And I went off and I was doing, I don't know who I was doing. Well, I had 4 first levels in a short time. And
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, it was just a customary thing, just like talking to Sandy Williams.
Right.
She said, Jim Burke came in, did an in-home. He said, get 20 people. She said, I got 20 people. And at the end of the meeting, he said, come back here next week, same time, same place, and bring people with you. And Debbie's doing the meeting. You only did one meeting. From then on, you do your meetings. people came into Shackley, and that was just the thing. You're going to go do in-homes. It was expected. Everybody went out and did in-homes. That's why once things got started in the Osterhaus business, from a weak directorship, within a matter of about 4 months, there were 80 people coming to a weekly meeting,
Yes.
and everybody was doing in-homes, and my volume shot up to 15,000 a month.
I remember coming to that first meeting there, Roland. You know, we had, Bob had kept after me to go to the meeting at your house. I said, no, that's church night for me, and I'm going to church. Well, I got to church one night, and Roland's meeting started at 8, and the lights went out. And so I called Bob, and I says, hey, you going to that meeting? I can go. That was my first meeting when I came to your house. And so then, what you were doing when we walked in, you was rubbing that toothpaste on your two front teeth. They was passing it around, they was rubbing the toothpaste around. I thought, what is, because I hadn't used toothpaste yet. I mean, not that toothpaste. And so anyhow, but that, I mean, that's how I got to the first meeting at Roland.
Fantastic. You know, I think I just love hearing these stories. I don't know about you. I love hearing these stories. And I know I have said to people at times when we've gone to a conference like coming up in Las Vegas, I said, come on, let's go find Huey Peterson. Huey Peterson is deceased now. But Huey Peterson did about 18,000 volume, I think about the third month, just with Basic Age. Reports of Basic Age, 18,000. And Huey Peterson was in the Chicago area. He was a contractor, and he was not union. And so he was building stuff. And anyway, somebody in the Chicago area came to him and said, look, you can either get out of this area, walking out, driving out, or you'll be going out in a box.
Mm-hmm.
You decide. Your life is going to be gone if you try to stay here in the Chicago area and not be union. So he said, I had to quit this big jobs that he had there in the Chicago area and move back to Minneapolis, so that's where he was from. And, you know, would have to start all over again there. But that's when he got involved in Shackley and became a master coordinator and senior master and so on. And I love hearing those stories because we all think, you know, everybody came in the same way and so on. No, everybody has their own story. And I just love how people discover various things. And anyway, that's why it's so important when you go to Las Vegas, ask people questions. What happened when you got started? I love those stories. Any other comments or questions? What do you think about this in-home stuff?
Roland, I love the in-home stuff, but as far as the stories go, I listened to a recording today with Laura Evans and a lady I've never met named Joyce Hoffman. And I'm sure you probably know who she is. And she was saying how, you know, when they got started, the training was, you saw it, you went and did it. And she said, you know, I had a hard time. She said, I went to the 10 people I knew would sign up, and all of them said no. You know, and so I was ready to quit. My husband said, you're a smart lady, figure it out. You're a smart lady, figure it out. So then they started doing skin cares. And she said, I just couldn't get anywhere with this skin care. And she said, I'm just not going to do the skin care. He looked at her again and he said, Joyce, you're a smart lady, figure it out. And she changed how she said, right then I changed how I was doing it. And it just made all the difference in the world. And so, yeah, I think you're hitting it nail right on the head. It's just overtraining, underdoing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, Richard has done a lot for our business in that people are starting to believe a little bit. And of course, he's not saying, you know, this is a good idea to get the book out. He says, get the book out, get active.
Right.
So it's getting people moving in the right direction. But most people don't have a clue to know what to do in terms of building an organization. They have not made a decision. They don't know where their business is going to be in 12 months. Just like the last Zoom I was on, I thought, oh my gosh, these people are asking questions that they would not ask if they had a real target. They're asking questions, the same questions. Exactly what do you ask people who are interested in the business? I said, I don't know. I may, maybe they're a young person, they're not married. I'm not going to ask. Okay, it's written down on the sheet. How many children do you have? It's going to be different. Somebody else is married. How long have you been married? What does your husband do? What does your wife do? I don't know. I mean, isn't that just common sense to find out about people? If you took Shackley out of the equation and all you're supposed to do is find out about this next person you're talking to, these are basic questions you would ask. Do you have any children? How old are your children? How long have you been living in the area? Just questions. And people want to know exactly what type of a training program they can have to know how to ask those questions. Which tells me they do not have a goal.
Roland, I think part of it is they don't have a goal. Definitely, if they don't have a goal, they don't have the vision isn't built. But I also think that the training program, as I've seen it, and I came in with, hey, just go to Shackley University. It's all there. That's all you need. And what it was it wasn't a confidence builder. Basically, what it said to your subconscious is you are not. I don't know. It just said to you that you don't have enough training, so you need to study this more. And then there became more blocks and more blocks and more blocks. And I'm thinking, my God, I can't. I didn't. I know it says university, but I didn't really think I signed up for the university program. And so you don't display confidence to your people when you say, well, it's right there in the university, go study that and then we'll talk about it. And so,
one of the questions that they asked, well, what do you tell people? And I said, basically, we've got the product, we have the market, and I know how to tap the market. If you're coachable, we can build. And so what'd you cover with the husband? We've got the product, we have the market, I know how to tap the market. If you're coachable, we can build. And if you want to help other people. So what are you going to tell their people that want to build? We've got the product, we have the market, I know how to tap the market. If you want to help other people, we can build. That's all I cover. I don't get into percentages. I don't get into volume. I don't get into director. I don't get into titles. I don't get into nothing. I don't even talk about the cars. I don't talk about the trips. What do you want? What do you want to do? And it boils down to what kind of an income, because that gives me a pretty good idea as to what the business is going to look like. And how do you feel about doing it quickly? Or do you want to take your time? Doesn't matter. But I do know that there's a certain amount of time, open window, to get momentum. And this is one of the problems we had before when we were not giving out free products, a lot of them, for people doing in-homes. The delay was way too much. And now, here are these people who are having the in-home have never tried a Shackley product. And you say, well, shouldn't they try Shackley first? Doesn't matter to me. I want to get in-homes to talk to more people. Do you think they're going to be using products? Yeah, they'll probably get $300 worth of product, and that's another good thing. They're getting started on a lot of Shackley products right now. And I'll put money on it. There will probably be, at least 4 more presentations that will be set up because of the 2 that I give. I've never had 2 people at an in-home saying, hey, I want to have one as soon as possible. Never had that happen. So I believe that, I think the normal would be 2 people say, I want to have an in-home. That means 4 more in-homes. If we're hitting the average, that's 2,000 volume from the new in-homes. 2,000 volume, 5, 5, 5, 5. I don't know how you can add it up by getting the book out to enough people. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen fast. It's not going to happen. Anybody else?
if you want to be successful, it's the only way to go.
Yep.
I mean, why try and to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
I mean, I think of a lot of things that, different things that Roland, you and I mean, there's a lot of things we don't know how to do. We don't know how to do Facebook real good. We don't know how to do all this technology stuff. Maybe I'm sure you know more than I do, which I wouldn't have to be much. But, those things, they hold people back. I mean, I think of a gal in their group down under a first level of ours. She loves to do Facebook parties. So she'd do Facebook parties. Well, has she made director yet? No. She's been doing Facebook parties for, oh gosh, probably a year and a half. I don't know, maybe longer. And, but they're not coachable. And that's what they're going to do. And so, we have to wait until got to wait until they're coachable if they ever become coachable.
Yep.
That it just don't work. If they're not coachable, I figure, look at, Roland makes a little more money than I do. And I would kind of be stupid not to listen to what he has to say. I mean, I was talking to Charlene Fike on the phone here just an hour or so ago. And I said, my bonus check isn't as big as yours or some of the other ones. But I said, you know what? I've kept all my bonus checks. I haven't sent any of them back. So I keep them all. And I'm thrilled to death, with what I get. I just keep working. Another person, another in-home. I have got so many people in my group that I'm looking at that I can't call them yet because I know I can't handle them at this point. And I mean, don't you have that, Roland?
Oh, I just called a few people, and I've got people saying, yeah, we want to have an in-home, and I stopped calling people.
Well, yeah, right.
Because I know what my goal is. My goal is to get at least one or two more first level directors.
Right.
Okay. So I can't do it all. I can't do in-homes for all these people who would say yes to having in-homes.
Right.
I could double my volume in a matter of 2 months.
Right.
I could increase my income with volume by quite a bit in just a matter of a couple of months. But that's not fitting in with the goal of what I want. I want to build master coordinators. And therefore, that tells me this is where you work and who you work with. I mean, there's a plan, and many people who do not have a goal, they don't have a good concrete plan, and consequently, they're going in 10 different directions, and they burn out. Like somebody on the last Zoom is trying to put together what her business is going to look like in 12 months. And I appreciate what she did. I told her, I said, I really appreciate what you're doing and so on. But she was showing that she's a director, that in 1 year, she's going to have 9 first levels. And basically everybody she was showing is at minimal volume. So she could make executive. That was the focus, to have enough volume to make executive. And I asked the question, what are you going to do with some of these people, or what do some of these people want to do? Well, she knows a lot of people, and she wants to work with this health club. And I said, I know what activity you're looking at and she's doing, but what does she want to do in Shackley? Well, she wants to earn $5,000 a month. Okay, and she's in a couple other network marketing companies. Does she want to earn $5,000 a month just from Shackley? I don't know. How much does she want to earn from these other companies? I don't know. How successful is she in these other companies? I don't know. I said, you're just playing a guessing game. You're just playing a big guessing game because you don't know, because you do not have a clear target as to where you're going. I said, you don't want 9 first levels in the next 12 months. You're not building depth. She doesn't even understand that you make more money from people downline than you make from your first levels. She doesn't understand that. So I said, rewrite it again. And, I didn't want to come down on her hard, but I said, if you're going to be a leader, you got to talk about the real stuff. And I said, you're just hoping that people are going to do wonderful things because they know different people and they know organizations. That's not it. And you say, well, why are you, this may sound like a contradiction, why are you doing an in-home for some of these people who haven't even tried the product? Because I don't know who's going to be the leader. Maybe these people will never be directors, but they're going to lead me to 10 more people. Somebody's going to be a director. Somebody's going to be an executive in that group. Because the way it happens is that many times the person that is first level, second level is not the director. Somebody who's third or fourth level, just like Marianne in sponsorship was, I believe, 5 levels down, and now a first level master coordinator. She talked about the Allemans being way down line. They are now first level to Marianne. We've got to understand how this thing works. And then, we must have goals as to what we want. We'll figure out how to do this thing. But the bottom line is in-home presentation gives a lot of volume, and you get that volume pushing people up, and somebody's going to say, hey, I'm going to take hold of it. And we're going to be able to say, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You've got to prove yourself first before I'm going to recommend you. I know you have 4,000 volume in your group, but you've got to prove yourself. Wouldn't that be wonderful? You must start going out doing in-home presentations. Otherwise, I'm not going to recommend you. You must learn some good leadership skills, and I can help you with that. If you're not going to learn that, I can't recommend you. It's a whole different ballgame. Any last comments? Whole new ballgame, folks. Mike and Janet, any comments?
Well, I'd just like to say, Roland, thank you for doing these Zooms, and thank you for getting the training with Richard Brooks. I would say it's the first time in however long we've been in Shackley, 18 years, I guess, that we're doing things more consistently, and we're actually working on our beliefs, we're working on our vision, we're tweaking it, we're getting the feeling, we're working on our 2-minute story. And I actually thought about, okay, what if we had a $10,000 income, what would I do with it? Because the money wasn't really motivating me. Like, it was just money. So I sat down and think, okay, we have so much money in expenses, and what would I really do with that money? And it was kind of scary because I had to work through, well, do I really deserve the money? Am I worthy of the money? And then I started really thinking about what I would do with it, and then I got excited about it, and then I got to the feeling like I was owning it, like I want $10,000 a month. So this is all, we don't have the 1-a-day invite or any of that, but I'm trying not to compare what we're doing to anybody else because we're all different. But I have to say, just working on my thinking, just like what people have been talking about on the call, I find anywhere I go, people are saying hi to me. I'm saying hi. My other business, I'm getting referrals like I never got before. I'm not going
I love it, Jen. I love it.
So it's like, okay, I have to translate all this into Shackley somehow, and I am working on it. I've got it in-home scheduled. I haven't done an in-home, oh my God, in a long time. But I don't have it all planned out, but I'm excited about doing it. She's got 3 people definite so far. She's invited 20. And I'm waiting to get another one scheduled. She said she would do it. We're just kind of going back and forth on dates and things. But I agree with you with what you're saying with doing the in-homes. Doing things online never really excited me, for one thing. So yeah, and I love hearing the stories like Marianne was telling about what you guys used to do.
Mm-hmm.
than what was expected. So I'm excited. This is the first time in a long time going into convention. Like I feel like we're actually running a business for the first time.
Wow.
So
I just want to congratulate you, Janet and Mike. I mean, it's all about the thinking. And as I told somebody the other day in the vision casting, yes, you can talk about the things that they will have, but if you can talk to them about what they will feel like and what life will be like.
yeah.
Yep.
In other words, I try to get people to figure out how will it feel if you go into a restaurant and you see this family sitting over there and you can tell that they don't go out to dinner very much and they probably really didn't have a lot of money for that dinner. How would it feel to say to the waitress or waiter, I want to take care of their dinner?
I know.
How will it feel to do things like that? Because your life will change. How will it feel when you're talking to your family members who may not be using Shackley, but how will it feel when they see you in a whole different light because they see you head and shoulders above them in your thinking? And how do you pat them on the back for where they are? Because it's so easy for them to point the finger and say, oh, you think you're top dog now because you're doing well in Shackley and so on. So how do you really pat them on the back and make them feel good and make their day? You'll be a different person. And try to picture that new person you're going to be as part of the vision casting. And it's an incredible, great feeling. It is an incredible, great feeling. And I tell you, we're just at the beginning of seeing and hearing the most incredible stories ever that people are going to share. Just like Marion talked about what happened when she got started. Your story that you have, I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. And so we're just going to have incredible, incredible stories to share. And it's just going to escalate. And that's one of the reasons why we will see the biggest growth years in Shackley's that they've ever had. And it's primarily because of all of you. And on some of these other Zooms that I'm on, because I'm giving them the same message. If you're not going to do in-homes, you're not going to grow. So most people in Shackley, and believe it, in Las Vegas, you will not hear people talking about doing in-homes. And so you're going to be talking a language that is going to expand to other people, other groups, and you are the messengers of an incredible message. Boy, I tell you, you're going to look back one day and all these people across the United States are doing in-homes, and you'll be able to say, and this is a good feeling, you'll be able to say, yeah, I was part of that team that started it. Because I can't do it all. I'm only one person saying this. But boy, you guys started doing this, getting the results. You are the messengers of an important message. So congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, good talking with you, and we'll be on again next week.
See you today. Are you going to be there tomorrow?
I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I'll be there tomorrow. Yep.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, very good.
In Vegas.
Thanks.
Hi, Roland.
Bye,
Thank you.
Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on.